3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another update video of the KITT rebuild. The last video we did was actually towards the end of May. We have actually been doing things in the meantime, even though we've not posted any videos in the meantime. One thing we've been doing is drawing out detailed wiring diagrams, because we are now in the process of rewiring the front end of the car. We've also, of course, been developing other KOE products, including the voice modulator, the new voice modulator, and the functional switch pods, which are now available. So let's get back to the car. Since this car no longer has electronic control, no longer has an ECU, we needed to produce something which would control the fuel pump, so that just for safety reasons, if the engine cuts out, it will cut off the fuel pump. And to do that, we've produced this little box down here, this fuel pump control unit, and all that does is it switches on the fuel pump relay, and we've used the stock GM relay, which is mounted here, and it switches that on either when the engine is running, or also for a 2-second period to prime the fuel lines when you first put the ignition on. Connections to that box are 5. There is a power and ground connection. The ground is grounded back here, and the power is taken from the fuse on the fuse box, which was marked ECM, because we no longer have an ECM, so we use that same fuse to power this fuel pump circuit. We have a output from this fuel control unit. In fact, we have 2 outputs from the fuel control unit. One is to indicate whether the fuel pump is being demanded to be powered, and the second is to indicate that there's power actually on the relay. There's an internal relay in that box whose output is connected together to the output of the original relay, so you've actually got 2 relays in parallel. Now the output of that relay is taken through the bulkhead connector into the fuse's fuse, and it also powers a little LED on the fuel pump control circuit to indicate whether it's running or not. And the other output from that box just tells you that the transistor which switches the relay is powered, so it can indicate whether there's a fault with the fuel pump circuit. We've actually also got an original spare red wire on this fuel pump relay, and what this is used for on the stock configuration is it connects to the diagnostic connector on pin G, I believe it is, and it allows you to bypass the fuel pump circuit to test if there's any problems. It allows you to drive directly the fuel pump by putting power onto that. And that's actually the normally closed contact of this changeover relay. The normally open contact is the power supply in, and the common contact is the power out. Also on the bulkhead connector here, we have a map sensor. Now you might wonder why we want a map sensor for an engine which is not electronically controlled. Well, it's entirely for the KOE dash to give us a indication of engine vacuum. So that's the reason we've got this map sensor here. The fuel pump relay we've talked about. This other relay here is used for the front driving lights or fog lights in the custom nose, and that is driven, we have a power supply coming through from the junction block inside the car to the relay contact itself, and we have a power supply which is from the fog light switch inside to switch the coil of this relay. The output of this relay goes down this white wire, which becomes a pink wire and goes all the way down to the fog lights in the nose, which are these inner 2 lights. The outer 2 lights we're using for UK legal side lights, because the stock configuration uses a second element within these orange units, which is not UK street legal, so we have to power these outer ones from a pickup that did go to the stock turn and side light units, so we now take that off and feed it to those outer lights in the nose. Also in here we have the stock configuration harness, which has a takeoff here. That brown wire is to the brake pressure warning in there, if you can see that one there. We also have an air temperature sensor, which we mount just down here. That's a standard unit that we use on all the KOE replicas. We have the scanner harness, which is this one, going through a grommet in the bulkhead. We also have wires coming through to the wiper, which we still need to tidy up actually. The fifth wire that I didn't mention, because I forgot, that goes to the fuel pump control unit, is a white wire, and that's a takeoff from the tacho output of the distributor. And the reason for that is so that the fuel pump can continue to power the fuel pump, not only for the 2-second priming pulse, but also when the engine is running. So that enables the fuel pump control unit to know whether the engine is running or not. I think that's covered all the wiring under there, unless my cameraman can remind me of anything. Here's one of the diagrams, partially completed diagram, which we've been working with, which has made the job of rewiring the engine bay a lot easier. That's going to be updated and finalised, and we'll actually post that onto the KOE Facebook page. And here is what Stephen's been working on, which is a replacement headliner for this car, which I think you'll agree is looking absolutely the business. So on that note, I think we'll have a look inside the car again. That's going to go up there. And that's our very hot July update.